I talk to you about the electromagnetic spectrum. What is the electromagnetic spectrum refers to the many types of radiations released from the star included our own sun. Electromagnetic radiation travels in waves. Frequency describe how many times waves per second. And wavelength produces wavelength measure to the length and the individual waves. In the mirror, scientists describe the electromagnetic spectrum as a long line at in the radio waves, the longest waves and lowest. Frequency in the spectrum, a single radio wave has a length on the football of radio waves. Come microwaves, which produce more energy, do share the wavelength and higher frequency. Cell phones, radar, and micro often use microwaves. Next come the infrared, high infrared like craters and other heat sources that produce infrared lights while we cannot see infrared light with the field as a heat visible lights occupies a narrow side of the electromagnetic spectrum, neatly between infrared and ultraviolet light. Red waves have to the longest frequency and lowest wavelength of visible light as you move from the red to orange, yellow, blue, and finally violet. Wavelength short and frequencies increase from visible light. We move into ultraviolet frequency. Human skin produces vitamin D. When exposed to ultraviolet light with excessive ultraviolet light cause sunburns. Next is ray, which the past towards salt ensure but not the certain materials, such as bone making dead values, so the medical test X-ray also have security applications such as an airport baggage check. Gamma X-ray produce even shorter wavelength heater frequencies and more energy in comparison to the football field seal. Wavelength of radio waves, gamma ray. Wavelength as a small atom nucleus. Okay, the next is the how does solar radiation affect us? Okay, prolonged exposure to the sun's rays, besides causing struggles, also put epidemics and causing spouse facility. Premature aging and most seriously also makes you susceptible to develop skin or even age cancer. For me, my own is that's it.
Hello, my name is Erika. I'm going to talk to you about ultraviolet factor, protection, wavelength, and frequency. Index UV. The UV index is a measure of intensity of ultraviolet UV radiation from the sun at the level of the Earth's surface. The sun emits energy at different wavelengths. A part of it comes in the form of ultraviolet waves harmful to life. Some of this energy is absorbed by the ozone layer at highest levels, another part reaching the Earth's surface. Types of UV rays. UVA rays. These rays are associated with long-term skin damage, such as wrinkles, but are also considered to play a role in some cancers. UVB are the main rays that cause sunburn. They are also thought to cause most skin cancers. UVC rays have more energy than other types of UV rays, but they do not penetrate our atmosphere and are not In sunlight, they are not normally a cause of skin cancer. And how does sun cream protect us? Sunscreen are made with molecules especially designed to tap the amount of UV rays that penetrate the skin from two types of protective barriers. Those that absorb radiation with chemical filters and those that act as physical blockers and reflect those UV photons before they can be absorbed by our DNA is as minimal as possible. Another important thing is to understand the meaning of labeling well, especially with regard to the sun protection factor SPF. That number it must be clear. Does not indicate that the cream question protects with less of rather potency. What determines is the period during which it provides protection. Then an FFS 30 cream will protect us over 300 minutes, maybe about 5 hours. That's all for me. Thank you for attention and good day.
Hello everyone, good morning, good evening, or good night. I am here to talk to you about the solar storm and the rainbow. Okay? The first point that we need to know is between the Earth and the Sun exists 150 million of kilometers. Okay? If we can exemplify the size in real life, if we can exemplify the size of the Earth, it could be 1 centimeter, and if we can exemplify the size of the Sun, could be 1 meter in diameter. Okay. If we can exemplify the distance between two things, it's like a soccer football field, and the Sun could be in one goal and the Earth could be in the other goal. It's that little point blue. Okay. And the topic that I be here is to talk about the solar storms. Okay, that is the important thing. Okay, the solar storms talk about micro explosions, and that micro explosions are composed by solar bows. Solar bows is like the rainbow, but in the sun. Okay, and that image have some explosions, like I told you, and that appears in a dark fields in the sun, and that fields have a concentration of magnetics, and it has a lot of concentration of magnetics. Okay, the solar storm can be that the signals of the telecommunications, the distribution of electricity, and the generation of electricity, like sustainable, like our career, can be failed. But the solar storms to date, there has not been affects and living beings. Okay, only affects the telecommunications and the things that need to use the ons, electromagnetic ons. Okay, and that particles of solar rays can produce the northern lights, in Spanish the aurora boreal. Okay, And the last is the rainbow. The rainbow, it's a optic and meteorologic phenomenon, and that consists in the appearance in the sky in a bow, in the form of bow, and it is by the rays to enter the earth, and when the contact of the solar rays enter to the earth, contact with a little drops of water contained in the atmosphere. Okay, when the rays come from the sun, obviously, and enter to the contact with a little drops of water. Okay, and that phenomenon can we see when when after when after the rain. Okay, when after the rain in the fields on the street, can we see that phenomenon. It's very interesting. And have a nice day. That's only for me, and I hope you are very well.
The sun in relation to the clones. Have you ever been on a jumper? Is it an effect that is generated in the jumper? That same effect happens when a ray of sunlight hit a clone. This effect has the result that the Earth has a lower percent of heat, consequently causing its temperature to drop. Some of these technologies have already been implemented on house roofs, which means that inside the house there is a lower percent of heat and the less damage to the structure. How the sun affects the weather. To know how everything arises, we must understand something. The first thing to know is that the earth gets in energy from the sun, but we must also know that this energy does not always arrive in the same amount. But why does this happen? This is due to the factors that interfere. The first factor is change in the Earth orbit, and the second factor, change in the Sun. But what are the change in the Earth orbit? Well, are those that they make a significant change, such as the 3 points is eccentricity, precision, and inclination. Eccentricity is a space between orbits. Precision wobbles the Earth as it spins. And finally, point is inclination. Inclination is axis of the Earth.
Hi everyone, my name is Francisco Javier Jesus Mora, and I'm going to explain two topics today. I'm studying engineering energy. I am from Universidad Politécnica de Cuautitlán Izcalli. Okay, so I'm going to start. Okay, here. The number one of the topic is photosynthesis, and the second is solar phenomena. So I can start with one question. What is the photosynthesis? Okay, well, the photosynthesis is a process by which light energy is converted into chemical energy. Here we can see the image of the process. I can explain the process. The process of the photosynthesis occurs when green plants use the energy of light to convert carbon dioxide, CO2, and water, H2O, into carbohydrates. Light energy is absorbed by chlorophyll and photosynthetic pigment of the plant, while air containing carbon dioxide and oxygen enters the plant through the left stomach. An extremely important byproduct of photosynthesis is oxygen, in which most organisms depends. So I have other question. Why is important the photosynthesis? I think that it's important because the photosynthesis create oxygen, and the oxygen is very important for the humans, obviously us. With the oxygen we can create wind energy, and this energy is used for the people, and the energy is clean energy. I think that is most important the photosynthesis. Okay, and the other topic is solar phenomena. In the solar phenomena we can see three phrases: sunspot, solar storm, and solar wind. I am talking about only one, the solar storm. Okay, this emerged in the periodic talking of maximum solar activity. This wave is able to damage the electric circuit and the system of communication for other sites, so this is able to live in without electricity big cities. For my part, it's all. Thanks for your attention.
Hello everyone, I am Aris, and I'm gonna talk about energy and terrestrial energy, or terrestrial radiation. In physics, energy is a quantitative property that must be transferred to an object in order to perform work on or to heat the object. Energy is a conserved quantity. The law of conservation of energy states that energy can be converted in form but not created or destroyed. The SI unit of energy is the joule, which is the energy transferred to an object by the work of moving it in a distance of 1 meter. All forms of energy are associated with motion. For example, any given body has kinetic energy. If it is in a motion, a tension device such as a bow or a spring, so that as it rests, has the potential for creating motion. It contains potential energy because of its configuration. Similarly, nuclear energy is potential energy because it results from the configuration of subatomic particles in the nucleus of an atom. And now let's talk about terrestrial radiation. The terrestrial radiation is the thermal radiation emitted by the Earth as a consequence of its temperature. All black bodies at a given temperature emit radiation into their environment and absorb radiation from it. The energy distribution is given by Planck's law of thermal radiation. Weinstein's law gives the most probable emitted radiation frequency, and the Stefan-Boltzmann's law gives the total energy emitted per unit time and emitting surface. This energy depends on the Ford power or the absolute temperature. Now, the Earth's atmosphere constitutes an important filter since it makes it opaque to all infrared radiation of wavelength greater than 24 micrometers. This doesn't affect solar radiation, but does affect the thermal energy emitted by the Earth that reaches up to 40 micrometers and that is absorbed. This effect is known as the greenhouse effect,